I'm Alexis, 33. As I sat in the luxurious suite of the Four Seasons, looking out at the snow-covered Connecticut landscape, I couldn't help but reflect on the events that had just unfolded. It was Christmas night, and I had walked out of my family's gathering, leaving behind a room full of shocked faces. I come from a wealthy family in the heart of New England. My father, Richard, is a high-powered corporate lawyer, and my mother, Victoria, is a socialite deeply involved in charity work. They've always been very status-conscious, with a clear vision of what success should look like. My older brother, Henry, 37, is a top-notch investment banker on Wall Street. He graduated from Princeton with honors and has an impressive portfolio of clients. He's married to Lisa, a former model, and they have two beautiful children. My parents are always bragging about Henry's achievements, and he's the apple of their eye. My younger sister, Isabella, 29, is a rising star in the fashion industry. She started as a fashion blogger and quickly caught the attention of major brands. Now, she has her own clothing line and is frequently featured in fashion magazines. My mother is constantly showing off Isabella's latest photo shoots to anyone who visits. And then there's me. Growing up, I always felt like I was in the shadow of my siblings. I got decent grades in school, but they were never as outstanding as Henry's. I didn't have the looks or the charm that Isabella had. My parents never seemed to notice my small achievements, and every time I tried to share something about my life, the conversation would quickly shift to Henry or Isabella. During our family's Christmas traditions, which were always grand affairs filled with expensive gifts and elaborate dinners, I was always the one left out. One Christmas, Henry received a brand new sports car, and Isabella got a trip to Paris for a fashion week. I, on the other hand, got a set of kitchen utensils. When I tried to express my disappointment, my mother told me to be grateful and that not everyone needed something flashy. This pattern continued year after year. I started to believe that I was just the average middle child who didn't deserve the same attention as my siblings. I went to a university my parents chose for me, studying a major I had no passion for, just to meet their expectations. But during my junior year, after a terrible argument with my father about my grades, I made a bold decision. I dropped out. My family was furious. My father refused to speak to me for months. My mother cried about me wasting my potential, and Henry lectured me about responsibility. Isabella simply couldn't understand why I would give up a sure thing. With the little money I had left from my college fund, I moved to San Francisco. There, I started my own digital marketing agency from scratch. I worked long hours, taught myself coding, and networked with anyone I could. While my family thought I was barely making ends meet, I was secretly building a successful business. I expanded into e-commerce platforms, social media management, and eventually developed a popular productivity app. As the years passed, I kept my success to myself. Partly because I knew my family wouldn't understand, and partly because I still hoped that one day they would see me for who I really was without me having to prove it. This year, my company, Zenith Digital, acquired a major competitor. The deal was featured in Fortune magazine, with my picture on the cover under the headline, "The Unsung Heroine of Digital Marketing." The company's valuation had reached 9 figures, and industry experts were calling me a visionary. I thought this Christmas would be different. I bought thoughtful gifts for everyone, a rare first edition book for my father, a vintage necklace for my mother that matched her favorite earrings, a donation to a children's charity in Henry's name, and a private fashion consultation for Isabella. When I arrived at my parents' mansion on Christmas Eve, the house was as grand as ever, decorated with twinkling lights and fresh garlands. But the reception I received was cold. Henry made a snide comment about my busy schedule. Isabella barely looked up from her phone, and my parents seemed more interested in their own preparations. During dinner, the conversation revolved around Henry's latest business deals and Isabella's upcoming fashion shows. When I tried to mention my company's acquisition, my father interrupted me to ask Henry about the stock market. Later, I overheard my parents talking in the kitchen. My mother asked if they had gotten me a gift, and my father replied dismissively that I didn't need anything and that I had never appreciated their previous gifts. They didn't even expect me to come. On Christmas morning, The pattern continued. I was asked to do menial tasks in the kitchen while everyone else relaxed. During the gift-giving ceremony, one by one, my family members received amazing presents. Henry got an investment in a new startup, Isabella a partnership with a luxury brand. And then, when all the gifts were distributed, I was completely overlooked. My father tried to cover it up by saying my gift was delayed due to shipping issues, but it was a transparent lie. This time, I couldn't take it anymore. I calmly excused myself from the table, went to my suitcase, and retrieved the Fortune magazine and a portfolio of my company's financial statements. When I returned to the dining room and showed them the magazine, the room fell silent. Henry's eyes widened in surprise. Isabella stared at the magazine in disbelief, and my parents' faces turned pale. I explained how I had built my company from nothing, despite their lack of support. I told them that I had tried to share my success with them for years, but they had never been interested. My mother asked why I hadn't told them, and I replied that their lack of interest had made me feel like my achievements didn't matter to them. Isabella then tried to align herself with my success, offering to model for my company's advertising, but I politely declined. My father tried to regain control, suggesting we talk about my company's future plans, but I told him that I had a top-notch team handling everything. Extended family members who had previously ignored me suddenly started to show interest, but I could see it was based on my new-found success. I decided I couldn't stay. I told them that I was leaving and that I wished them a Merry Christmas. My father tried to stop me, saying my behavior was unacceptable, but I told him that I was just sharing the truth. I had finally realized that I didn't need their validation to be happy. As I sat in the hotel room, my phone buzzed with messages from my family. My mother sent a series of apologies, saying they had no idea I was doing so well. My father said he wanted to talk about my business. Henry messaged that he had been a terrible brother, and Isabella asked if we could catch up. I wasn't ready to respond yet. I called my assistant, Mia, who had been with me since the early days of the company. She asked how it went, and I told her it was exactly as she predicted. She asked if it was satisfying to show them who I had become, and I said it wasn't about satisfaction. It was about finally standing up for myself and being true to who I am. In the days that followed, my success spread through the extended family like wildfire. Distant relatives started reaching out, offering congratulations and asking for business opportunities. I set clear boundaries with them. I met my mother for coffee at the hotel. She looked smaller and more vulnerable than I had ever seen her. She apologized for not seeing my worth and said she wanted to understand my life. It was a start, but I knew it would take time to heal the wounds. A few days later, I had lunch with Henry. He admitted that he had been competing with me his whole life, even when I wasn't competing with him. He said he was tired of the pressure to be perfect and that he envied my courage to follow my own path. He apologized for his past behavior. Isabella invited me to her apartment. She opened up about her insecurities, saying that she felt her worth was only tied to her looks. She was jealous of the way I was described in the magazine for my intelligence and vision. I told her it wasn't too late for her to build something different. As the months passed, my relationship with my family started to change. My father sent me articles about the tech industry, my mother asked more questions about my business, Henry and I started having regular video calls, and Isabella began taking business courses. As the next Christmas approached, I received an invitation from my mother. It came with a handwritten note saying that they understood if I didn't come, but they were trying to do better and were proud of me. After some thought, I decided to go. This Christmas, the atmosphere at my parents' house was different. The gift-giving tradition had been changed to a more personal and thoughtful one. My mother gave me a locket with a photo of me as a child, sitting in front of a computer, looking happy and focused. She said she should have recognized my passion earlier. As I looked around at my family, I realized that the true empire I had built was my sense of self-worth. I had learned that success could be defined on my own terms, and I no longer needed my family's validation to be happy. The journey had been long and painful, but it had led me to a place of authenticity and self-acceptance.